during the Alaska summit, where he thought he made a lot of progress. I'm sure you did. And then Putin showed up and he's standing with President Xi, and Donald Trump says now they're conspiring against me.
Biden did. Also, when I was on maternity leave, we got to the fact that there are 7 wars.
Very fresh, even though you get on leave.
I am not fresh.
You are.
Let me tell you how fresh I am not. I brought to you. You said you didn't know the legal justification for the striking of the ship. I brought it for you. OLC opinion from 1980, Article 2, Section 2, Commander-in-Chief power. So we've got that too. I'm fresh.
That's Kim Kenny absolutely dismantling Jessica Tarlov and her flimsy attempt to spin Donald Trump's bold Department of Defense rebrand into some kind of global embarrassment. Welcome to John Sen Robinson. I'm John Senator once again. The left shows they simply don't understand real power. Every time Trump makes a decisive move, they panic, and in that panic, they expose how little they grasp true strength. Renaming the Department of Defense back to the Department of War. That's classic Trump, a deliberate power play, a calculated strike, and the ultimate troll for liberals like Jessica Tarlov. She took the bait, went on a rant, and got taken apart in real time.
Harry Truman, not famously woke. I should note a bunch of presidents that served our country, not Donald Trump, but Truman, Eisenhower, JFK, LBJ, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, H.W. Bush, all of them. It was just fine to call it the Department of Defense. You know who else calls it the Department of Defense? The people that Donald Trump are jealous of. The Chinese and the Russians also use that name. It's because he thinks it sounds more dangerous, more big guy, more manly. Like Jesse said, it's a nickname. It's all a game, and first of all, this happened it passed through Congress, so they're probably going to have to go back through Congress to do it. So nothing has been changed except that their chyrons get to look that way.
Kayleigh, your former boss, does anything surprise you about him not wanting to be on defense, right? He always has done his, his debates, his interviews. Never ever put yourself on the fence. You always want to be on offense.
It's like you know him very well. Because I remember being in a meeting with him when I was on the campaign, and we were determining the name for the counterpart to Act Blue. So it was, do we want Act Red or Win Red? And I said, President Trump, we're winners. We win. He goes, yeah, that's right. Winning's better than acting. Win Red doesn't surprise me. He wants to take off defense and put offense. Why? Because he's a president who's been on offense. This is more than just a name, Jessica. This is an entire cohesive foreign policy that has been offense. Bombing Fordo, taking out the drug cartel ship. Go back to the first term, taking out Soleimani, taking out al-Baghdadi, striking in Syria. When Biden said don't, President Trump said do. And what you are looking at is a reflection of that. They are taking down defense. They are going to make this the Department of War. This is a president of offense. He doesn't say don't, because when you say don't, the enemy's act. When you say don't, Putin goes into Ukraine. When you say don't, Hamas attacks on October 7th. When you say do, when you actually do an action, you achieve the respect of the world. And that's what's happened with President Trump.
On maternity leave. Congratulations.
But let's be clear, this isn't just symbolism. It's calculated strategy. Under the original War Department banner, America mobilized 16 million troops and crushed the Axis powers in World War II. Contrast that with the defense era, defined by drawn-out stalemates in Korea and Vietnam. Even the Heritage Foundation's 2025 index shows military readiness up 15% under Trump's reforms. Clear proof that framing and language matter. Pete Hegseth nailed it. This move revives a warrior ethos, not a bloated bureaucracy. And Victor Davis Hanson called it sheer brilliance. Trump is turning the left's obsession with renaming on its head. Only this time, it's not about erasing history. It's about honoring America's heroes.
Changing names to represent the ideal, right? It's pure persuasion. This is why a lot of the liberals, like Jessica, have to psychoanalyze him. Because they don't understand persuasion. When you have somebody like Van Hollen who speaks like a lawyer, you're never going to persuade anybody. They should do this with all the departments. Trump was making a distinction about the last 4 years. What did Biden do to the Department of Defense? He turned it into a laboratory for social experimentation. It wasn't about protecting the country. We saw it. Everybody knew it. It was about making it an enlightened vehicle for the rainbow people. They treated the military like a Disney remake. Let's update all the characters, right? We'll add a gay here, put a trans here, a non-binary woodland elf. And then Trump enters the picture and says, no. It's about war. And if it doesn't fit that definition, we don't want it. His critics don't understand this, and he drives them crazy because he operates on a superpower they don't have, which is persuasion. What is persuasion? blunt language, usually that's pretty colorful and memorable. Department of War. You know, he understands incentives and disincentives. Department of War is a disincentive. What he also has you think past the sale. Calling it the Department of War then has you accept the premise in its own title. So when you hear things, you go, we need new missiles. Department of War, that sounds about right. We wanted this diversity month. Is that Department of War? No, it isn't. So he creates this world for you, and it drives the left crazy because they still haven't found the person who can do.
This is the brilliance of Trump's 80-20th strategy. He frames the issue so Democrats end up defending the losing side. The rebrand projects power and confidence while exposing their hypocrisy. After years of tearing down statues, renaming schools, and rewriting tradition, they suddenly call Trump's renaming childish. Spare us. As Greg Gutfeld put it, Trump's greatest superpower is persuasion, flipping the script, rallying people around strength, and forcing his opponents to argue nonsense. Every meltdown they have proves it. He wins before the fight even starts.